I'm Veronica Dudo. Tonight on EWTN News Nightly, tough questions.
Were you consulted by the White House before they deployed National Guard troops to cities in the United States?
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House.
You won't even say whether you talked to the White House about this?
I am not going to discuss any internal conversations with the White House with you, Ranking Member.
Attorney General Pam Bondi testifies before the Senate Judiciary Committee. A somber anniversary. Israel marks 2 years since Hamas's deadly attack. Let's make a deal. President Trump and Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney meet at the White House to talk about trade tariffs. And from Satanist to saint, how a young lawyer in the 19th century had his life transformed by the Rosary. These stories and more tonight.
From EWTN, the Global Catholic Network, this is EWTN News Nightly.
Thank you for being with us on the Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. Our top story tonight, Attorney General Pam Bondi testified on Capitol Hill today. Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee accused her of weaponizing the Justice Department, alleging she followed President Trump's orders instead of the law. But the nation's top law enforcement official hit back, partaking in several tense exchanges. One with Ranking Member Senator Dick Durbin, who pressed the AG on why National Guard troops are being sent to Chicago in his home state of Illinois.
What's the rationale for that?
Yeah, Chairman, as you shut down the government, you voted to shut down the government, and you're sitting here, our law enforcement officers aren't being paid. They're out there working to protect you. I wish you loved Chicago as much as you hate President Trump. And currently, the National Guard are on the way to Chicago. If you're not going to protect your citizens, President Trump will.
The Attorney General got into a testy exchange with Senator Sheldon over photographs in the Jeffrey Epstein files.
There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs?
You sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein? Come on.
An angry Senator Lindsey Graham wanted to know why the Biden Justice Department wanted his phone records and those of several others during an investigation of January 6th.
Can you tell me why my phone records, when I'm the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, were sought by the Jack Smith agents? Why did they ask to know who I called and what I was doing from January 4th to the 7th?
We saw Jack Smith weaponize the Justice Department against Donald Trump. We saw the Biden administration weaponize the entire Justice Department, all of the law enforcement agencies, against Donald Trump, against his family members, against his friends for years and years. And that weaponization is over.
And Republican Senator Josh Hawley recalled how the Biden Justice Department targeted Catholics.
And this happened, the targeting of Catholics in this country, because Joe Biden and his FBI didn't like Catholics who went to a certain kind of mass. I mean, good God in heaven, what is happening to this country?
People can worship freely, whether they're Catholics at synagogues or Muslims. Everyone can worship freely. That was the ultimate weaponization. They were targeting Catholics. No longer.
Committee Chair Senator Charles Grassley said he's considering hearings into the tapping of senators' phones and will make a decision shortly. President Donald Trump compares it to a kamikaze attack, referring to the current government shutdown. He blames Democrats for starting it, saying they have nothing to lose. He made the comments while hosting the Prime Minister of Canada. Several other topics came up as well, including trade. But it was the shutdown that prompted several headline moments, including one about back pay. White House correspondent Owen Jensen reports. Owen.
Veronica, good evening to you. As the shutdown continues, questions tonight are being raised over pay, specifically, as you mentioned, back pay. And both the president and a senator addressed that today. On day 7 of the government shutdown, President Donald Trump questioned about back pay for government employees now sidelined some 750,000 workers.
The Democrats have put a lot of people in great risk and jeopardy, but it really depends on who you're talking about. But for the most part, we're going to take care of our people. There are some people that really don't deserve to be taken care of, and we'll take care of them in a different way.
A memo being circulated by the White House says legislation the Republican president signed into law back in 2019 does not require back pay, and that it's up to Congress to provide the funds. But Senator Patty Murray counters the president, writing, "The letter of the law is as plain as can be. Federal workers, including furloughed workers, are entitled to their back pay following a shutdown." Another baseless attempt to try and scare and intimidate workers by an administration run by crooks and cowards. The president also says his administration will cut yet-to-be-named programs.
Because of the shutdown, which I think they made a big mistake, we're able to take out billions and billions of dollars of waste, fraud, and abuse.
Another hot topic, trade.
We have some natural conflict, but we will probably work that out.
Both leaders stress the competition between the two countries.
But we're competing for the same business. He wants to make cars, we want to make cars, and we're in competition. And the advantage we have is we have this massive market.
There are areas where we compete, and it's in those areas where we have to come to an agreement that works. But there are more areas where we are stronger together, and that's what we're focused on. And we're going to get the right deal.
President Trump long ago floated the idea of Canada becoming America's 51st state. He joked about it today.
But this is, in many respects, the most important.
The merger of Canada and the United States.
That wasn't where I was going.
And the president was pressed on domestic issues, like his crime crackdown.
If you look at Chicago, Chicago's a great city where there's a lot of crime. And if the governor can't do the job, we'll do the job. It's all very simple.
Now, back to the government shutdown. President Trump says he's concerned about airport delays. He calls them Democrat delays. There have been some cases of air traffic controllers calling out sick. At the White House, Owen Jensen, EWTN News Nightly.
The Texas National Guard has arrived at the Chicago military facility after the governor of Texas authorized President Trump's deployment. The mayor of Chicago had this response.
What the Trump administration is doing to escalate violence in our city and cities across America is just absolutely reprehensible. The fact that he has declared war on the city of Chicago is disconcerting, to say the least.
Federal courts in Chicago will hear cases against the Trump administration's deployment of troops later this week. FBI Director Kash Patel is heading to Chicago, saying on X, Chicago will be saved. The U.S. Supreme Court's conservative majority appears ready to side with a Christian therapist challenging Colorado's ban on so-called conversion therapy for minors. Kelly Childs says the law violates her First Amendment rights by barring licensed therapists from counseling minors who want to change their sexual orientation or embrace their biological sex. Her attorney from Alliance Defending Freedom argued that Colorado's law unfairly censors religious and moral viewpoints. The state counters that the therapy is harmful and the ban only applies to licensed treatments, not speech. The court's decision is expected by June and will have implications for the more than 20 other states with similar laws. Jake Warner argued the case at the Supreme Court today. He is with us now. So you were present at the Supreme Court today. How did it go?
It was a great day in court if you're a fan of free speech. Alliance Defending Freedom represented Kaylee Childs, a licensed counselor in Colorado, and she's challenging a law that is blatantly viewpoint-based. Colorado passed a law a few years ago that harms children. It forbids counselors from helping children who want to regain comfort with their biological sex, but it allows conversations to push them toward a gender transition, which often leads to harmful drugs and procedures. So Colorado is banning speech on issues that it wants to compel certain ideology on.
Can you share with us some of the questions from the justices, and maybe could you gauge where they were starting to think in one direction versus another?
The court seemed very receptive to our arguments today. There seemed to be a majority of the justices who were really concerned about the viewpoint discrimination that is going on in Colorado's law, because Colorado's law is harming kids. It's preventing voluntary conversations between a licensed counselor and a willing minor. Colorado says if you want to have those conversations, the counselor can only push those kids towards harmful drugs and procedures. You can't help them regain comfort with their sex. So the court was really bothered, it seemed, by the viewpoint discrimination going on.
Now, you are arguing this casing falls under free speech. How was that message received today?
Well, I think the majority of the court warmly received the idea that Kaylee's counseling is words. Kaylee is a counselor, and all she does is talk with her clients. She has voluntary conversations with children who wants them. The First Amendment protects speech, and the court has always held that words are speech.
Now, since therapy is confidential, might this be a bit challenging in terms of a ban to enforce?
Well, Colorado relies on complaints to be filed, and in fact, our client has already received complaints that Colorado is investigating, saying that she has violated the law. So Colorado is investigating and forcing her to respond to complaints already. So there is an enforcement mechanism that the state uses. But certainly we hope that the court recognizes that the real problem going on here, which is that the state's trying to push its preferred ideology on kids and families who don't necessarily want to accept it.
Well, we'll certainly continue to follow this case. Jake Warner, Senior Counsel at Alliance Defending Freedom, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me.
We have a lot more still to come on EWTN News Nightly, including peace talks. Israel and Hamas engage in day 2 of peace negotiations on the 2-year anniversary of the war, and what the Pope and other church leaders had to say about this somber anniversary. Welcome back. The Gaza peace talks are taking place in Egypt on the 2-year anniversary of Hamas's surprise attack on Israel that triggered the war. The negotiations are focused on President Trump's proposed plan to end the fighting. Under the deal, an international security force would take over Gaza after Israel withdraws its troops. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the war will only end when all the hostages are returned and Hamas has been disarmed. That remains a condition the militants have yet to accept. Meanwhile, an Egyptian official says Hamas has demanded guarantees that Israel will not resume the war after the release of the remaining 48 hostages, including 26 publicly confirmed dead. The U.S. delegation is set to join the talks on Wednesday. Meanwhile, today across Israel, people gather to mark the somber anniversary.
But today there are still 48 hostages in captivity in Gaza, and the war is ongoing. There is a deal on the table. There is an opportunity to end this war and bring everybody back home. We all deserve it. We deserve it. Our neighbors deserve it.
On October 7th, 2023, thousands of Hamas-led militants crossed into southern Israel. They stormed army bases, residential communities, and an outdoor music festival. 1,200 Israelis were killed, including innocent civilians. 251 were taken hostage, though many have since been released in ceasefires and other deals. Joining us now is Jonathan Deckelhen, father of Sagi Deckelhen, who was taken hostage. How has your family been coping emotionally and spiritually since Sagi has been released?
Well, the first emotion is, of course, joy, and has been that way since mid-February when he was released. In that phase of negotiated agreement. But at the same time, he and the rest of our community and the hostage community, as well as the country of Israel, really cannot even begin to heal from the trauma of October 7th until all of the remaining 48 hostages come home.
This is something you've been fighting for, but now President Trump's peace plan has renewed global attention on the hostages. What are your thoughts on the administration's efforts and any potential diplomatic breakthroughs?
Well, I've been sure since the 8th of October 2023, so almost 2 years now, that the only way, because of my familiarity with the Israeli government and the Middle East, that the only way that any of our hostages were coming home alive, if at all, was going to be because of extremely strong pressure coming from the Oval Office. And that was true in earlier phases with President Biden, and certainly true in last January and February with President Trump, which brought 33 of the hostages home, including my son. I'm just as certain right now that alongside the commitment that the president and his people have stated to getting this done now, we all will need consistent, unrelenting pressure from the president and Mr. Witkoff on Hamas, but also on the Israeli government to get to yes and to fulfill the terms of this proposal that President Trump put out a number of days ago.
So you just explained what you think is needed to free the remaining hostages. But if they could hear you now, what message would you like to tell the hostages?
I would tell them that the entire country of Israel is working to get them home. We will do everything. We have done and will continue to do everything to end this nightmare for them. Both those who are alive and the remains of those who have already been murdered and are being held by Hamas. As difficult as it is, keep your faith, and we will get you home.
Jonathan Deckel-Hen, thank you so much for sharing your family story.
Thank you.
Today, Pope Leo was also asked about the anniversary of the attacks and the effort to end the war.
We must reduce hatred. We must recover the ability to engage in dialogue and to seek peaceful solutions. Of course, the groups that carry out acts of terrorism, we cannot accept them. We must always reject this way of hatred in the world.
The Latin Patriarch of Jerusalem is calling on Christians to help build bridges in the Gaza conflict.
We are a minority, 1%. 99% population are non-Christians and not necessarily interested in the Christian faith, which is okay, it's wonderful. So we are not powerful, we are not a threat. And this gives us also possibility to approach freely everyone, and gives also to everyone to approach us without any fear of anything else.
Cardinal Pier Battista Pizzaballa says he has no illusions that it will be easy. He says the next step is, quote, to start from this very sad reality and rebuild. Up next on EWTN News Nightly, taking flight, the Vatican announces the Pope's first apostolic journey of his pontificate. Find out which countries he's planning to visit. Plus, Marian Memorial, we visit the shrine in Pompeii dedicated to the special Marian title we celebrate today. The Vatican has announced Pope Leo's first apostolic journeys abroad will be to Turkey and Lebanon. In a statement earlier today, the Holy See press office said the Holy Father will travel to Turkey from November 27th to the 30th. The trip will include a pilgrimage to Iznik on the 1700th anniversary of the First Council of Nicaea. Then from November 30th to December 2nd, he will be on the ground in Lebanon. The Holy Father talked about it earlier today.
For all Christians, it's really a moment of unity and faith, and we must not let this opportunity pass. It's a historic moment, but not one meant to look back, rather to look forward. Lebanon represents a chance to once again proclaim the message of peace in the Middle East, in a country that has suffered so much.
On the eve of the Feast of the Blessed Virgin Mary of the Rosary, Pope Leo celebrated Vespers at the Domus Australia in Rome. The chapel is dedicated to Our Lady of the Rosary of Pompeii. It was renovated and reopened by Cardinal Pell for Australian pilgrims. Before praying Vespers with the 150 attendees, the Pope blessed a restored painting of Our Lady of the Rosary of Pompeii. It was gifted to the chapel by soon-to-be Saint Bartolo Longo. In his homily, the Holy Father Father reflected on how Mary embodied the virtue of hope through her trust that God would fulfill his promises. The Pope also urged the faithful to open their hearts so that, just like Mary, we can say yes to his calling. As we mentioned today, the Church celebrates the Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary. EWTN News Vatican journalist Zofia Tobak has more about the life and conversion of the man who helped spread this devotion.
As we enter into the month of October, a month dedicated to the Holy Rosary, I am here on the ancient grounds of Pompeii, home to the shrine of Our Lady of the Rosary.
For the city of Pompeii, this month is marked by not one, but two great celebrations: the Feast of Our Lady of the Rosary and the canonization of Bartolo Longo, who helped restore the shrine and spread devotion to the Rosary. He will be the first canonized knight of the Order of the Holy Sepulchre.
Bartolo Longo was a former Satanist who converted to Catholicism after seeking guidance from a Dominican priest, Father Alberto Radente, who directed him to go to confession and start praying the Holy Rosary after Bartolo was suffering with severe anxiety, depression, and terrifying visions that were a result of the satanic occult that he was part of. This eventually led him to Christ through Mary.
Ahead of his canonization, the sanctuary has been filling up with pilgrims, locals and tourists, gathering to visit his tomb and learn more about the saint-to-be.
We are the children of Bartolo Longo. I am from this land. I am from this area. Bartolo Longo taught us that the Rosary is life. For me, the Rosary is everything. I say one every morning in bed before I wake up. That is, as soon as I wake up with my wife. Every morning. We have been saying it for more than 10 years. The Rosary is life.
After his conversion, Bartolo dedicated his life to spreading the devotion of the Rosary around Pompeii. He established the Rosary Confraternity, authored the 54-day Rosary Novena, and founded the Basilica of Our Lady of Pompeii by restoring an old, run-down church. At its centre, he placed a painting of Mary gifting the Rosary to St. Dominic and St. Catherine of Siena, to which numerous miracles and graces have been attributed.
Molta gente non crede nei miracoli. Io ci credo.
Many people do not believe in miracles. I believe in them because I have experienced one myself.
Chi ha subito un bruttissimo...
I had a family member, a nephew, who suffered a terrible accident. We entrusted ourselves to prayer as a family, and thanks to prayer to Our Lady of Pompeii, my nephew was saved and is still with us.
Mio nipote si è salvato.
Bartolo Longo taught us the Rosary, and with the Rosary, we obtain many graces. Bartolo Longo said that it is the chain that unites us to God, and this is true.
Every rosary, every Hail Mary is a rose from Our Lady, and it is wonderful because you feel very close to her, and she helps you in all your difficulties.
Amidst the many difficulties people face around the world, Bartolo Longo reminds us that regardless the conflict we might find ourselves in, we can always turn to the Queen of Peace for consolation.
What he did for Pompeii was something that, nobody else will be able to do it ever again. And it is important, not just for me, but for everybody, that it brings people together, it brings peace to the world. That's what we need.
From Satanist to saint, Bartolo continues to draw so many into the arms of Mary through the Holy Rosary. In Pompeii, Zofia Tobak for EWTN News Nightly.
Though our Blessed Mother is known as the Queen of Peace, the celebration of Our Lady of the Rosary is tied to one of the most significant battles in history of not only the Church, but the world. In 1571, a massive Ottoman fleet sailed to Cyprus, hoping to take it from Venetian control and then dominate the Mediterranean. To fight off the invaders, Pope St. Pius V assembled the Holy League, consisting of the major Catholic powers in Europe. On October 7th, the two navies clashed, and despite being outnumbered, the Holy League won. The battle is seen as a turning point in history that eventually ended Ottoman naval expansion. Pope Pius attributed the victory to Mary through the Rosary and established the feast we celebrate today. Our Lady of the Rosary, pray for us. We thank you for watching tonight. Remember, you can follow us on social media, Facebook, X, and Instagram at EWTN News Nightly. I'm Veronica Dudo. Good night and God bless.